We will be having a new moon in Virgo on September the 14th at 9:39 p.m. at 21 degrees of Virgo. This new moon in Virgo is asking us to level up as we have the second lunation on the manifestation axis of Virgo and Pisces, and the sun and moon conjoining in the sign of Virgo is asking us, what have we learned? And it's also requiring us to apply these lessons to our lives. And we can do that by setting an intention, which is what we do during every new moon, for these Virgoian qualities. And that would be around discipline, our habits, wellness, health, healing, service to others. Those are all places that you can consider when you're setting your intention. This new moon is happening at the exact degree point that Mercury, the ruler of the chart, stationed retrograde. And during the time of this new moon, Mercury will still be retrograde. So we are at a standstill, a reflective point where we are definitely asking ourselves, what have we learned during this retrograde period that actually ends the next day on Friday, as Mercury is going to be stationing direct. And we're going to want to reflect upon where we've gained clarity and what's potentially changed in our lives. So at the time of this new moon chart, we actually have an opposition with Neptune happening to the sun and moon. And this is going to highlight Neptune's qualities, highlight our intuition, highlight the subconscious, and there could be a lot really coming through with this new moon energy. And we may also get some of the lower energies of Neptune shining through. This can be deception, this could be insecurity or escapism, delusions, and the potential of being manipulated. So we'll want to be aware of that at this time. Neptune was also highlighted in the recent full moon chart. It was the chart ruler for the Pisces full moon, and it was also conjunct the moon during that time. With Neptune in opposition to the sun and moon, we are still having this emphasis, this strong emphasis on this Neptune quality. And it could also be reflective of us letting go of some of the emotional baggage that we've been carrying, patterns that we've had come up that have been reflected and shown to us during this recent phase of Mercury being in retrograde. So this is definitely a time to sort of honor where you've moved beyond something, where you've maybe already let something go, where you're starting a new cycle. There's quite a lot of energy to honor the start of a new cycle in this chart. This opposition with Neptune is a mutable opposition. And that is because Neptune is in its home sign of Pisces, and that is very mutable energy. And the sun and moon are in Virgo, which is very mutable energy. So there's a sense of a lack of knowing what to do, maybe a lack of willingness to make a decision, or the feeling that you could really kind of go both ways in this energy. It may really require taking a decisive action. This really reflects areas of our lives where we have been wishy-washy, where we have maybe not wanted to take a stand or take the lead, where we've maybe let the unconscious lead, maybe unconscious fears or patterns lead and make decisions for us. However, again, this is the manifestation axis, and there's the strong energy this time around in Virgo. Virgo wants us to be clear. Virgo wants us to get organized, and Virgo wants us to make that decision from that point of clarity. In this chart, we also have Mercury, ruler of the chart, opposed Saturn. And Saturn's in the sign of Pisces. This, again, I feel reflects back to us leaning into that intuitive space. Mercury is retrograde in the chart. Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, that very intuitive space. It's sort of asking us to give some authority to that intuitive space and let that shine at this time. Chiron is an important planet to look at for this chart because Chiron is considered a co-ruler for Virgo, And at the time of this new moon, we do have Mars opposing Chiron. And this could show up as a confrontation with a situation or a person who causes us to really face our wound. So we're really being called to look at the wound at this time. We may feel vulnerable about it. We may not really want to take action, though it may be time that we're called to really take action regarding our wound. And it may be that we have to do something to heal at this time. There's a catalyst of sorts propelling us towards addressing our wound. We have a grand trine in Earth in this chart. This is a powerful flow of energy that can ask us to really restructure, recreate our lives. It adds to this real potential for manifesting what it is that we want in the world. And the flow of energy is happening between Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus, all earth signs. This can really allow us to usher in more security, more financial security, more support for ourselves in that way. It's a very grounded energy. It speaks to having more material abundance, to having those resources that we may have wanted, needed to get settled or in place. It's also the harvest moon, so this is an energy of being able to reap what we've sown, and that'll really apply back to whatever it is that we've been working on, whatever conscious work that we've been doing. It's now time to really receive the gifts of that work. We also have a minor trine in the chart, and I've spoken about this before. It's a trine between Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. This is a mix between the cardinal, mutable, and fixed energies, and really gives the effect of transformation and evolution. So again, it's really empowering. It's an opportunity to step into our manifestation role. What is it that we want to create at this time for ourselves? So this is a really good flow of energy between three planets that are really in these very different modes, but still working harmoniously together. This is where we're asked to let go of subconscious patterns. That would be represented by Neptune's role. And these would be things that are no longer serving us. This big time is what's being called in this chart. And Pluto's allowing us the energy of transformation. That's sort of like this ongoing ceremony between these planets where each of them has a role to play. And Uranus is there to really evolve us, to help us push this forward into our futures. There's a saying about the new moon, new me. That's why we set intentions during the new moon, and we really want to work with this intentional energy of creation. And with Uranus involved in this minor trine, we really see this new earth, new moon, whatever it is that we're here to make new, to start over, to recreate, is really here for us right now. And it's definitely an energy of not really being able to avoid these patterns that we may have previously been in. With this minor trine being on repeat, we're really having to look at things. So it might be a bit uncomfortable depending on what's coming up. These things, these patterns, these ways of being, even things that are really have maybe been subconscious up until this moment, could be coming to the surface, but they're coming to the surface to be reworked. They're coming to the surface to be transformed. And you have a lot of power in this chart. We all have a lot of power in this chart to really decide what it is based on the lessons that we've had that we want to create. Venus is also squaring with Jupiter in this chart. This is the third time that this is happening since July. Venus now is no longer in retrograde, but Jupiter is. So this can be momentum and encouragement or support for more aligned relationships. It can mean financial prosperity. It can also be a sign of places that we're overdoing it. We're overindulging in these Venus qualities of luxury or spending, of romance, seduction even. It can be a way that we're buying things to make us happy. So we're overindulging in purchases or even food in order to feel better as a coping mechanism. That might be some of the things that have been coming up on your radar into your awareness. A lot of us have felt a great relief since Venus has gone direct, and it seems like, green lights, all steam ahead. And now we get this sort of block from Jupiter. Jupiter's in retrograde, Jupiter's squaring Venus. And this is a challenge. But this is a challenge that's going to refine us in the areas that we've been working on with Venus, especially Venus in Leo, self-actualization, letting ourselves shine. And this is another block. It's sort of like the energy of, I'm going to give you this gift, but no, I'm going to take it back. You can't have that quite yet. And where have we maybe been dependent on these outside resources in order to allow us to feel like we can shine, we can move ahead with ourselves, our goals? And this could be the realization, especially since it's the third time, that there are some blocks to achieving things that we want to achieve, to letting ourselves shine, to expressing our true selves in our most authentic way, to manifesting what it is we want for ourselves as far as our values go, finances, also relationships. And it can also be looking at our patterns around abundance and blocks around abundance, and how we have not allowed abundance to come in. What are some things that have come up on our radar around blocking abundance? And Jupiter, while it is a square, Jupiter is a benefic planet, so is Venus. Jupiter's presenting this block in order for us to overcome it. So you can look at where there may be some potential blocks to your sense of abundance, to your sense of achievement, where there could be support that was potentially there but is now being pulled away. And how is that actually helping you to evolve? I really feel like this is an empowerment. That's a lot of times how these hard aspects like squares between two benefic planets can work out. It can be harsh, but it's harsh because it's helping us to really evolve. And it's a really big energy of the chart, and it really supports the overall energy of this chart, where we have taken a deep dive into the subconscious, where we have really sunken in and listened to our intuitions, listened to that inner voice. And now we're ready to manifest. Now we're ready to take these Virgo steps and pay attention to the details and how we can actualize some of these things in the 3D world. Thanks so much for joining me for this new moon in Virgo transmission. I do have a download for all my paid Substack subscribers that accompanies this transmission, and it provides some of the main highlights of this new moon energy, as well as writing prompts for your journal and a ceremony idea. I also actually have a flower essence for the Virgo energy that would be great to use during this new moon. If you want to check that out or become a paid subscriber, it is only $5 a month. And I do offer a free weekly transmission of the astro energies that comes out on Monday if you want to become a subscriber. Thanks so much for joining me.